Q4765. In the case of operations over an area designated as a mountainous area, a person may operate an aircraft under IF or below 2,000 feet above the highest obstacle within a horizontal distance of A. 3 sm from the course flown, B. 4 sm from the course flown, C. 4 nm from the course flown. The correct answer is C. According to the FAA's Aeronautical Information Manual, AIM, Section 91.177 Minimum Altitude, Mountainous Terrain, A, except as provided in paragraph B of this section, no person may operate an aircraft under IF or over a designated mountainous area at an altitude less than 2,000 feet above the highest obstacle within a horizontal distance of 4 nautical miles of the route being flown. B. This section does not apply to the operation of an aircraft over a designated mountainous area at an altitude that is less than 2,000 feet above the highest obstacle within a horizontal distance of 4 nautical miles of the route being flown if 1. The operation is conducted 1. In accordance with an approved visual flight rules, VFR, flight plan, or 2. In accordance with an instrument flight rules, IFR, flight plan that authorizes the pilot to operate at an altitude less than 2,000 feet above the highest obstacle within a horizontal distance of 4 nautical miles of the route being flown, and 2. The pilot in command of the aircraft has 1. Filed an IF or flight plan, 2. Obtained a weather briefing that includes a forecast of weather conditions at and along the route of flight, 3. Determined that the minimum safe altitude for the route of flight will not be less than 1,000 feet above the highest obstacle within a horizontal distance of 4 nautical miles of the route being flown, and 4. Determined that the aircraft is equipped with an adequate two-way radio and has the appropriate communication and navigation equipment for the route of flight. 4456. Which report should be made to ATC without a specific request when not in radar contact? A. Entering instrument meteorological conditions. B. When leaving final approach, fix inbound on final approach. C. Correcting an ETA anytime a previous ETA is in error in excess of 2 minutes. The correct answer is B. The following reports should be made to ATC or FSS facilities without a particular ATC request when not in radar contact. 1. When exiting final approach, repair incoming on final approach. 2. A corrected estimate at whenever it becomes apparent that an estimate previously submitted is in error in excess of 3 minutes. 4071. While on an IF or flight plan, you should notify ATC of a variation in speed when A. Ground speed changes more than 5 knots. B. Average TAS changes 10 knots or 5%. C. Ground speed changes by 10 miles per hour or more. The correct answer is B. According to the FAA's Aeronautical Information Manual, AIM, Section 91.121 change of altitude or course. A. When an IF or flight plan has been filed, the pilot in command of an aircraft must notify ATC of any intended change in altitude or course. The notification must be given in the appropriate format as specified in Part 41 of this chapter. In other words, when you are flying an IF or flight plan and you need to change your altitude or course, you must notify ATC. This is to ensure that ATC is aware of your intentions and can provide you with the necessary clearance. 4379. What does declaring minimum fuel to ATC imply? A. Traffic priority is needed to the destination airport. B. Emergency handling is required to the nearest usable airport. C. Merely an advisory that indicates an emergency situation is possible should any undue delay occur. The correct answer is C. When a pilot declares minimum fuel to ATC, it means that the aircraft has only enough fuel to reach its destination airport with very little margin for error. This does not necessarily mean that the aircraft is in an emergency situation, but it does indicate that any delay could potentially lead to an emergency. Declaring minimum fuel to ATC is a way for the pilot to let ATC know that they are in a fuel-critical situation and that any delay could potentially lead to an emergency. ATC will then use this information to prioritize the aircraft's flight and to avoid any unnecessary delays. It is important to note that declaring minimum fuel does not automatically give the aircraft priority over other aircraft. ATC will still need to consider the safety of all aircraft in the airspace when making routing and sequencing decisions. If you are flying an aircraft and you are running low on fuel, it is important to declare minimum fuel to ATC as soon as possible. This will help ATC to prioritize your flight and to avoid any unnecessary delays. 4380. When ATC has not imposed any climb or descent restrictions and aircraft are within 1,000 feet of assigned altitude, pilots should attempt to both climb and descend at a rate of between A. 500 feet per minute and 1,000 feet per minute. B. 500 feet per minute and 1,500 feet per minute. C. 1,000 feet per minute and 2,000 feet per minute. The correct answer is B. When ATC hasn't used the words "at pilot's discretion" or placed any restrictions on climb or descent, pilots should start climbing or descending as soon as they acknowledge the clearance. Attempt to descend or rise at a rate of between 500 and 1,500 fpm until the allocated altitude is attained after descending or climbing at an optimal rate consistent with the aircraft's operational parameters up to 1,000 feet above or below the assigned height.